Hello everybody, and today we are going to be looking at a very condensed version of the Francis Howell School District Tech Fest presentation that I gave this afternoon. We were together for an hour at that time, but we're going to try to do this puppy in 5 minutes or less. The good news is Mrs. Liscombe talks too quickly, which, as you can see, my student here makes her feel in the yellow zone, which means that it makes her feel nervous, but for the purposes of this screencast, I hope you find it beneficial. Today's objectives were that we saw some sample digital data notebooks in action. We decided if we preferred to use the template that I made or to create one from scratch for your own use. We learned a couple of voice recording options if you decide you want to use fluency recordings of children's reading. We enjoyed some work and sharing time, and then we took a little survey to let me know how we did, and everybody seemed pretty pleased from what I have seen so far. If you are in the Francis Howell School District, please go to classroom.google.com, and as you're logged into your Francis Howell domain Google account, enter this classroom code. You can join our classroom and enjoy links to all of the resources that I mentioned in today's screencast. This idea spawned from an METC presentation that I attended last year. It was from a school near Kansas City. They have a 1-to-1 laptop ratio, which is awesome, but they use digital data notebooks with their student Google accounts, because they were at that time a Google Apps for Education district, which the Francis Howell School District now is, and sooner than later we will be getting those student Google accounts for elementary. So we watched a brief video. I'm going to kind of skip on through it. These kids were adorable. If you want to watch the full video, it is available just by going to YouTube and Googling Digital Data Notebook. And as you can see the basics, they enter data, they have a graph. You have little personal pages, they enter more data, you have a graph. You could do rubrics, kids scoring guides, more graphs, and so on and so forth. It was adorable and priceless, and the kids were very entertaining, so I highly recommend watching that if you do get a chance. So we talked about logistical considerations, which were just kind of the basics of the Google Sheets interface. Try not to do too much direct instruction as far as how to change the colors of cells or change backgrounds, add images, those sorts of things. For the most part, they can discover it on their own. Just give them some playtime on a blank Google Sheet, and then provide them with the template that you want them to use, and they're going to catch on pretty quickly, even in 3rd grade. Last year, I used a class account, which is what I'm going to use this year, or have been using so far this year. It got a little bit tabby. I liked the fact how I had it where the students, hopefully I pick a good one, I did use student numbers because it was on a public account. I didn't use any personal information or any names. I really liked the fact that I had the data graphs on separate tabs, because they could put the data on one tab and then the graph was on a separate tab for each thing. But what happens is you can't comment on a separate data graph. So what was happening was, here I want to make a comment, or I want to share this with a family member with their Google account, but they really couldn't comment on anything except for the data. So you'll see the template this year. I decided to go ahead and embed the chart within the tab with the data. The other consideration is to maybe create the student folders within your own teacher Google account and then share it with whatever account the students are going to be using. That way they cannot delete it. And also, sorry about that, I had a little mess up. They can't move it either. Sometimes they like to hide each other's folders inside their friends' folders. So creating the folders that the students are using in your own account and sharing it with theirs just gives you a little added layer of kind of security and limits what they can do with it. So the template that I created that is available for copying in our Google Classroom is here. You have a little My Favorite Things area, and then I tried to create a different kind of graph on each tab in some different colors just to make it fun. We've got a vertical bar graph, a horizontal bar graph, I got a line plot. I really like this one because on our daily Common Core review, each day there are a different number of questions that the students are asked to complete. And so you've got the number possible that they put up here. This day it was 6, and the next day it would be 4. And so the goal would be for the bar to meet the dot and have no gap in between that correct and possible. So I really liked it a lot. And there's another one with those math topic tests. Sometimes the number of questions changes. So I hope that you guys find that useful. We also talked during work time you could investigate Vocaroo, Screencast-O-Matic, or Screencastify, which are all websites that can be used to record student reading. Vocaroo is just a voice recorder where you could start the recording and have the kids tab over to a reading passage that could be displayed on screen, and they record the hyperlink both to their recording, because Vocaroo will provide that once they finish, and the passage. They could put that in their digital data notebook, and maybe using some sort of scoring guide or rubric, they could score how well they thought they sounded. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to emphasize the speed or how many words per minute they read, rather the quality, fluency, accuracy, expression with which they did read grade level text or whatever level text they may be on. Screencast-O-Matic is a free website where you can create screencasts. That's what I'm using right now. You can do video if you want to. I prefer just audio, but the kids like video. And you can upload it to YouTube or to Screencast-O-Matic. And Screencastify if your primary device is a Chromebook. That is a free Chrome web app. We talked about just using some time to do some different things. So hopefully as you move forth, you've enjoyed the content that I've shared with you today. And have a great day. I hope you can use it.